A simple setup that we can take advantage of going into the new week as we identified here on the GBP New Zealand. Scaling up to the weekly time frame, the first thing we observe is that we have seen price continue to find lower lows and lower highs since March 2020 as price action continue to give the impression that we are on a downtrend scenario. However, it is worthy to note that we have quite a very we have multiple consolidation phases on this GBP New Zealand, which make it a little bit tricky to trade. So scaling down to the daily time frame, we will observe the first thing I observed here is a key level that we can work with going forward as we have that crash that began in the month of February, which saw price which saw the move culminate at 1.87 thousand area at the end of March this year. Since the culmination happened here, we began to see a retracement phase as price continued to find higher highs and lower highs and higher lows as price continue to move, and which gives an impression that we are doing a retracement of that impulse leg. However, at this point, we are yet to confirm when this retracement phase will finally end. Hence, we're looking for reversal setup right along this retracement phase to look for structures where we can take advantage of the trend continuation to the downside. So the first thing first we want to look at is one, there is a possibility that the impulse leg will start from here into this area, or probably the impulse leg start right after the breakdown of this neckline, which is the neckline of a double top structure that we can identify here on the daily time frame, and it looks more like this. If you see, we have a double top structure here, hence the breakdown of that neckline. We saw price do a rejection of that structure before we saw the move to the downside. So the first thing we have two ways we can look at this, because we understand that after every impulse leg there is a retracement phase which follows. And now at this point we need our retracement tool to identify a golden zone area which we want to be using as an entry point for our selling opportunity going forward or going into the new week. So the first scenario is we pull out, we run our retracement to right from this area into this to this place, and then we have a golden zone area within 78.6% retracement and 50% retracement of that last impulse leg. Then the other option is to run the retracement to right from the breakdown of that structure, which looks more like this. Then um, we will be having our golden zone fall within this area. So that is that. So right now, what next do we want to be doing at this point? Now that we've identified the golden zone area, sure, there is a possibility that price can still probably go further up into this area, and then we look for structures where we look for opportunity to take advantage of a downtrend continuation. However, situation at this point is still making it very, very difficult to identify where to actually take advantage of the selling momentum. So if we look left, we can identify a key level. Probably we can use a major key level right here on the daily time frame, which can actually use to guide our actions going forward. So if I bring out the line chart at this point and we look at what is happening here, we can see that we have structures right around this area to work with. We have a resistance here, we have resistance here, we have resistance here. We had a support level, support level, support level, support level, support level here before the breakdown that happened here. Then we saw a retest into that same area, making it another resistant level. Sorry. another resistant level here, and then we had resistant level here, support. Then it appears we have another resistant level here. If you look left, you can see that we have this area looking more like a key level we can work with at this point. So with this information gathered at this point in time, it is pertinent that we draw out a key level that we will use to guide our action going forward. So we will definitely be having something like this around this area. So that's around 1.96700, I guess. Yes, 1.96700. So our key level is always gold. So we have it around here. So allow me to label this area key level at 1.967. So let's place it right at the top. So we have something like this we will be using to guide our actions going forward. So if you would allow me, let me quickly run a visual representation of what we talked about so far. We saw that this level has been a significant determinant of price action since last year, as we can see that a retest sent price up, a breakdown sends price down, a retest sends you see it sent price down, a rejection sent price down, a breakout sent price up, and then we saw the breakdown here, and it appears we are seeing a retest of that key level at this point. So if we zoom into what has been happening since the beginning of last week, then we can see that price has been rejecting 1.967 area multiple times, which also gives a clue into the strength of sellers at this point in the market. So now, are we going to sell this at this point, or are we going to still wait for price to break above, then probably form a reversal structure right above this level to sell? Well, since we have a key level at this point to get our actions going forward, definitely we want to be selling anywhere below that key level going forward. So if you allow me to scale down to a lower time frame to actually let us see what is happening at this point in time, we can see that we have a structure on the 2 hours time frame that looks more like a reversal pattern if we look at what has been happening since on the 10th of May. You saw that we saw this impulse leg. We saw this impulse move to the upside, after which price has been finding it very difficult to break above that key level that was identified on the weekly time frame. You can see price has been finding it very, very difficult. And at the same time, as price has been finding it very, very difficult to break that key level, we also have a level around this area since the beginning of this month that has been holding price supported for a while. And at this point, that level will probably be our neckline to play with going into the new week. And if we look closely with bringing out our line chart, we have a key level right under this area, which falls at 1.9. What's that? 1.9. I think 1.95 will be most preferable. Let me see. I think 1.95 will be most preferable at this point. So let's bring in 1.95, and then let's give this a purple to differentiate it from the key level we identified earlier. So with this structure around here, the consolidation phase that gripped the market since on the 10th of May might probably be a reversal pattern that we want to be using to confirm that we are going bearish on this one. So one thing first we want to be looking out for at this point is that we want to be looking for a breakdown, a significant breakdown of this level to give us a signal that sellers are actually taking over. And the retest into structure, we look for structures that supports a trend continuation to the downside, after which we can join the decline to the downside. So with this information in hand, definitely we also need to look out for further confirmations in this regard to guide us going forward. So if we bring out the line chart at this point, we want to take into cognizance this bullish trend line that we can see at this point. So if we allow we draw that, and then we have we can see that since the beginning of April, price has been respecting that trend line as we continue to see higher highs and higher lows. Then we saw something that looks like a false breakdown of that trend line at the beginning of the month before price went back up. And since price got to 1.967, we saw that price was finding it difficult to break above that level. Hence, we are looking for a breakdown of that neckline, which will also share a confluence with the breakdown of the bullish trend line, where we look for a retest of structure to give us a confirmation that we are going bearish on this one. So with this information, then we will be having a selling position that looks more like this. We have we can sell right below that key level with stop loss right below that level, right above that, right above the neckline. And then where will our take profit target be at this point? So if we go to a higher time frame, for instance, and since this is going to be, sorry, uh, since this is going to be a retracement, a trend continuation of that impulse leg, that's the prior leading price action at this point. So what we want to be looking forward to is we want to be counting this as a retracement phase of that impulse leg where we look for structures that will send price going further down. So on a long-term perspective, we want to project this impulse leg into the future where we will be having something like this into this area like this. So bringing out the Fibonacci extension tool and running through that impulse leg, we will have something like this. And then we'll have a take profit target right between 127.2% and 141.4% extension of that impulse leg, which falls at exactly around 1.8200 area. So this is going to be our take profit target on a long-term perspective. TP target right here. So let's place it right inside. So we have our TP target right here with about how many pips is that? That's about over 1,200 pips. So that's a long-term perspective. So since we want to take a short-term trade on this one, then we want to be looking forward to this area, which served as a demand zone in the past for our first take profit target, and that will probably be around this area. So if we look at what we have, we will be having around that's like around 300 pips they're about to work with, at least for this coming week. So after which, if price continues to break below structure, then we can add more position to this trade to take advantage of a further decline in price action. So allow me to pause this video at this point, and whatever happens at the beginning of the week or during the week will now determine how far we are going to take this bearish move to. Please note that the comment section below on my TradingView account is where I normally share regular updates in this regard. So thank you for watching and do have a wonderful night rest.